It's time for Commonwealth Common Sense with Susan Stimson and Kevin Scholla.
Hi, Susan. How are you?
Kevin, I'm doing great. This nation is experiencing some excitement right now with the congressional and Senate races that are coming up.
Yeah, Republicans feeling pretty good right now, but of course you have to go to the polls and make it happen. And, you hear a lot of people say, and this did not surprise me at all, but I heard a report the other day that, Democrat turnout is very high in presidential years, but in midterms like this, not so much. And, that's how President Obama got elected, right? A lot of groups that rarely vote came out. Meantime, conservatives, Tea Party types, common sense folks, people with families, they do come out and vote in the midterms. So that could bode very well for conservatives on Tuesday.
You definitely have a national mood right now of a motivation among the Republican Party, and I would say among many independents who are extremely frustrated with the direction of our country and frustrated, frankly, with the leadership of the president. So I think that there is an added momentum just right now for Republican candidates who are on the ballot, and I think that there is a little bit of not so much excitement from the Democrats, but the Democrats have proven to be quite effective at turnout, so you can't take any of that for granted. And it definitely does look as though that the Senate Republicans could pick up enough seats to take the majority. I think that many actually are planning on that, and it's just very interesting watching it all play out as the Democrats see themselves going down with a ship, like Senator Mary Landrieu in Louisiana, and Harry Reid spending just millions of dollars with his super PAC launching just outrageous ads, like in North Carolina, saying that the Republican candidate there, Tom Tillis, wants to bring the Stand Your Ground law into play that killed Trayvon Martin. So you do see some desperation from the Democrats. I'm hoping that we're going to see some true leadership from the Republicans as we now take the Senate. We'll have the Congress and we'll have the Senate. And now this is the real test. We've talked about this before, but it's what Abraham Lincoln said, the way you really test a man is you give him power. And now the Republicans are going to have control of the Senate and in Congress, and the question is going to be, what will they do with that leadership?
The latest poll in Iowa has Joni Ernst up by 7 points. Ben Sass looks good in Nebraska. We're hoping our friend Colonel Rob Maness, you mentioned the disaster of Landrieu, we're hoping Rob Maness can prevail in Louisiana. And, I like what Rand Paul said on Sunday. He said when Republicans get in, and if they do get this majority, you have to start passing bills right away. And, right. I couldn't agree more. Meantime, though, Amy Klobuchar, the Democrat of Minnesota, spoke on the same program that Paul was on, and guess what she said? Oh, we already have a little group together of Democrats and Republicans, and who does she mention? Lamar Alexander. So, a typical face of the GOP establishment who we were not able to primary out, and here they go again, the go along to get along. So, we talk about a Republican majority, but hopefully the majority of those Republicans are conservatives.
That's right, and immigration, I'd be watching that issue too.
Absolutely, and like you said too, I'm glad you mentioned the House, Susan. Not only the Senate, which everyone's talking about, but we heard from Congressman Paul Gosar today, who talked very much about the amnesty situation and open borders. Forget about it. We need strong public servants who have conviction and are not afraid to stand up to Obama. And you could really handcuff Obama here these last 2 years and maybe do a little good and start that cleanup process before 2016.
Well, the Tea Party very much has an influence on this nation and on politics. And we have the American people, and I think the Republican Party as a whole, we've called the truce. We've come together here at the elections, even if it's some that normally would want to give maybe the establishment a hard time. They're not. They're staying quiet, and we're coming together in unity to give the Republicans a chance here to show some leadership. And I think that hopefully they will use this authority that they're going to be given, and they will actually lead on the issues the way that the Democrats are just so very determined to do. And I want to see the Republican leadership do the same thing with what we believe in our Republican creed.
People talk about presidents losing some seats in the midterm elections all the time. It always goes to the other party, but there's a real chance here for a landslide, epic proportions, something like 2010, and that would really be a statement on the failed policies of Obama and friends. So a huge election on Tuesday, and Susan Stimson, we appreciate your insight, and good luck to you and everyone in Virginia on Tuesday.
Great, Kevin. It was great talking to you, and we will talk to you next week.
Susan Stimson in Virginia. More Commonwealth Common Sense next week. Now our weekly commentary, Steel Resolve. Here's Sarah Steelman.
Thanks, Kevin. Tuesday is Election Day. It is estimated that only 1 in 4 young Americans 18 to 29 years old will be voting. Many don't even know or think about the fact that it's Election Day. It's not on their radar. It is our responsibility to teach and train the next generation about preserving our republic and our Constitution. If voting is used as a performance measure of our success, we have failed miserably. The cynicism about politics, as expressed by so many politicians and talking heads, certainly doesn't inspire people to vote. And I hear people say their vote doesn't matter, nothing changes. So our future generation says, attitude reflects leadership, and many don't think their votes matter either. That's a sad comment. I told my freshman college classes this week that they need to vote, and here's why. Even if they don't think their vote makes a difference, and it may not change anything, they still need to vote because for over 200 years, men and women have died in order to preserve and protect not only their right to vote, but their right to be free and pursue their own dreams. All of us have a duty to vote to honor those who went before us and died preserving our right to govern ourselves. That's what we need to be teaching the next generation of young men and women, or they may not have a country left for their children. This is Sarah Steelman for Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tune in again next week for another segment of Steel Resolve right here on the Palin Update. The Palin Update, including Commonwealth Common Sense and Steel Resolve, is on demand and available for download. So just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. That'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also, like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook, and follow along on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Susan B. Stimson, at Sarah_Steelman, and at 3DSTS. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Go to Breitbart.com and search Kevin Scholla. I want to thank Sarah Steelman, Susan Stimson, and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thanks to Paul Gosar, and thank you for listening today. A special thanks to our sponsor, 3D Security and Training Academy. Visit 3dsta.com. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update right here on Mama Grizzly Radio. I'm Kevin Scholla. Have a pleasant day.